Good morning, Adhpa here. It's Thursday, actually, the 5th of December. Thursdays in the 11:11 teachings are a medicine day, and normally I do my videos on Monday, which is an intuition day, to see what comes up. This Monday, nothing came, and I very much followed that and waited for the Spirit to move me. So finally, it was moved, and to talk some more about the moons and the actual energies of the 13 moons of the year as they've been shown to me through the teachings that I received from Standing Out Chief Golden Light Eagle and in the Star Knowledge information. So I'm not going to do a lengthy discussion on the teachings themselves because those are not my teachings. Teachings are a very sacred thing, and if you want some teachings on it, find an elder in the nation and go in a good way, offer some tobacco, and ask with sincerity to get the help that you need. I am not an elder of any particular nation. I am happy to share whatever I've learned and my interpretations of it. However, I don't pretend in any way that I am an authority on these. This is just my expression of working with these energies based on the teachings that were shared with me. And I'm happy to share that experience. I do believe that I have some intuitive abilities that I can use along with cards and other things to get information and answer questions and help in personal development and growth. And I'm certainly happy to put that into action for you. If that's something that you are interested in, just contact me, send me an email. I'll put my email in the link below, and we can talk about it. But even then, even when you're coming to someone who is not necessarily an elder or a pipe carrier or a spiritual interpreter or all the other things that you may benefit from working with a traditional elder, I do have my own personal knowledge and experience, and it's still a sacred thing to me to share, to connect in that way deeply with someone and share. And so it is something that I request that if you ask me to do that for you, you come in a good way with sincerity, um, um, and um, and ask in a good way, and then I can more easily access those energies to share with you. Okay, so now on to the 13 moons. I'm going to very quickly tell you what the 13 moons are and which one we're in now. I'm going to talk a little bit about how with each moon there is a teaching, a cycle, something for us to grow and learn in the energy from to help with our personal spiritual development. And then I'll talk a little bit about what moon cycle we're in right now. Then I will pull a reading on the cards to see what they have to say about this current moon cycle for us. All right, so according to the teachings that I've received, every moon cycle has with it, you could think of it as a test to help with our ascension. And when I'm talking about ascension, I don't mean something coming down from the sky and pulling us up out of here, whether it's star nations or Jesus or any of the other things that might have been said. That's not ascension. Ascension is about raising our personal vibration and frequency and elevating our spirit, our wisdom, our connection, our ability to function in the world as physical and spiritual beings. So ascension is about raising up into the agency of your own faculties, essentially. So the more you know about them and develop them and work with them consciously, the more you are ascended in your capacity and skills and abilities and ability to manifest. Let's say your manifestation abilities. So every year we go through a cycle of moons that allow us, if we take those energies in and work with them, to, grow, just like every day helps us grow. Under these teachings, there are certain energies that come in around certain moon signs that are more prevalent, more available, more effective if we use them. That is the intent of these teachings. Okay, so I'll very quickly go through what the 13 moons of the year are, starting with the first new moon that occurs in January, which is the Buffalo moon. We move next into the Grandfather's moon, then to the Whale moon, the Eagle moon, followed by the Butterfly moon, then comes the moon of the tree, then the moon of the turtle. That's followed by the Firefly moon, then the Corn moon, then the Bear moon, and then the Spider moon. That's the moon we've just come out of, and now we have moved into the Grandmother's moon. And then there is also to follow the Good Heart moon, which will take us into January. So on the Grandmother's moon, this focuses on the spiritual law of strength, health, and happiness. And the teaching that we received on this moon is truth's trial is heart and hand and middle path. So be real, be who you are, and purify for purity's sake. And what that says is, this is a time in the Grandmother's moon to understand that we have to come to our relations with heart and hand. That doesn't mean only from the heart. We have to use the mind and everything else. But when we come heart and hand, we come prepared to speak from the heart and to listen from the heart to our relations. And following that middle path is a guidance to avoid the extremes of the far one way or too far the other way. Because not all relations are in those extremes. And we can meet in a middle path, heart and hand. Grandmothers kind of walk behind us and push us along, and so this is very much a moon of paying close attention to how we're walking. Are we on the path? Are we walking in humility and in our understanding of connection? Or are we charging ahead on our own personal, selfish, unenlightened, unevolved? An example of that, this week we have had quite a number of women, unfortunately, getting sentenced for crimes they committed, and people like Sarah Boone, Komorowski, and so forth. And these, what seems to be the same with all of these women who have killed people out of their own personal selfish acts, they seem to have a very difficult time facing their own mistakes and being accountable for really very devastating outcomes from the actions that they've taken. And because of that, they've received higher jail sentences because the judge clearly can see that. So what makes us do this? What makes us acting from a selfish sense of either wanting to look a certain way or to be right or to be liked, various things that we do in a selfish way, regardless of the consequences, because of something we want. Even though we can see that it kills people. And yet we'll hold fast to that selfish desire. In my mind, that comes from not having ever focused on our spiritual and intuitive faculties, it just comes from discounting them. Because I think that compassion and empathy come from that spiritual connection and understanding that runs through everybody, and we're all here, so we all have a right to be here. Creator did that. I didn't do that. You didn't do that. Creator decided life would be here and we would be part of it. And that gives us a sort of divine right of consciousness. Everyone, everyone, even the worst of the worst and the best of the best, for whatever reason. Now, doesn't mean you won't go to jail if you kill someone, because that's the world that we've created and set up for ourselves to help all of humanity grow, to have a legal system. So, you know, it's very sad to see these ladies and men. You know, there have been men in the past, Daryl Brooks and others, have done horrible things and then refused to be accountable. And there are certainly plenty of people out there today in positions of power who have done things quite selfishly that harmed other people for their own personal good, and they don't consider themselves accountable. And those are leaders. So if we allow our leaders to be that way, we can't, you know, how can you quibble at someone like Sarah Boone? She's simply doing the same thing that the leaders do, but she doesn't have all the money to save her from the consequences that they may. In my personal opinion, in the end, regardless of the money you have here, Creator will sort out the selfish from the community-minded, and you'll have to deal with those things then. So, yes, it's terrible that people die, but people are going to die. We're all going to die at some point. And it's my belief, based on my experience, that that's not the end of existence. That's not the end of consciousness. That's just the end of one manifestation of consciousness. So that will go on, and our consciousness will go on, and the consciousness of people who do horrible things will have to go through some process, will exist in some way. Again, my experience of that is that once you access the higher realms, you sort of know, you get an understanding of your own being and your own actions and what you've done, and you have to face that. Someday you're going to have to face it. You can face it here on Earth and move on and create new manifestations from a place of agency, or you can deny it until the day that you die, and then you'll face it then. Yeah, so there's that. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is pull a little reading on this grandmother's moon to see and ask the cards in a full reading, what is this grandmother's moon bringing for the collective? What do we need to be aware of? What do we have power over? What's coming in that we can't control? What are the potential outcomes? And what is going to occur with the energies over the period of this moon cycle? All right, so hang tight. I'll bring you down here to have a look at the cards. Okay, today we're going to do something a little fun. We're going to use the French deck that I picked up. Obviously, it's the Tim Burton deck, L'étrange Noël de Monsieur Duck. All right. Okay, let's have a shuffle of this deck. It's a very large deck. It's a little difficult to shuffle. And then I'm reading cards and I'm shuffling the deck. I'm first of all just clearing my connection internally. So get the cards shuffled. Start going through them, and as I go through them and reorder them, I'm going to concentrate in on what is this grandmother's moon bringing to the collective over this month. What is... All right, so kicked up a card, and once it in reverse, we have is the Five of Wands. Five of Wands. Reversed. Challenge card is the Cavalier de Cadeau. That is the Prince, maybe the Page of Wands. Of Pentacles. Let me look real quick here because with this deck, I'm a little confused with the Cavalier is the Knight. Yeah, valets are the pages. So that's the Knight of Pentacles. What we have control over, the Hermit card. Past influences affecting us on now is the Seven, the Chariot, the Higher Arcana. Things above us that we can't control. Strength, Le Fool. Things that are unfolding based on this. And we have the Cavalier of Cups, the Knight of Cups reversed. Let's make these a little more room. And the position of how we see ourselves, we have the Four of Wands, Four of Swords, Four of Swords, I believe, reversed. The bougies. This environment in which we sit is the Death card reversed. Hopes and Fears, the King of Cups, and the Outcome card, the Tower. So it looks like we're going to have a pretty, maybe, I don't want to say necessarily difficult, but a challenging month. So we have the bougies is Cups. I think that's the Swords. Yes, Swords. All right. So we start off with the Five of Wands reversed. So to read this, to understand this reading, so we are in a situation of Five of Wands reversed. Five of Wands is that card where you have it's like often called the hillbilly brawl card in reverse. So I think there is an attempt going on to, or the situation we're in now is that we'd like to just sort of settle down all the difficult times. But we're challenged by the Knight of Pentacles. This is the faithful knight that trudges forward slow and steady. So I think we're challenged, but we're impatient. We're challenged by having to take the slow, steady steps that are necessary to reduce the conflict that we feel. Hold on a second. I'll switch you back up here to me. Yeah, okay. So as I was saying, we're in this turmoil, tumultuous times. We'd like those to be ended, but we're challenged by having to take the steps, the slow, steady steps to well-being that it takes. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to change the way we're interacting if we want the world to change. So if we keep coming to the world with the same anger and vitriol and failure to be connected and understand other people exist, other beings exist, have compassion, that we're all in this together, to the extent that we keep coming without that understanding, we're never going to get rid of the conflict. There is a slow, steady path to well-being, and it has to do with you first, me first. I can only change me. This is all I have control over. That's it. Nothing else. You know, and that's true for all of us. So if we don't take those steps individually, it's going to be difficult to end the conflict. The card that we have had power over is our inner reflection. We only have the ability to evaluate ourselves. I can suggest to you what my experience about you might say, but that's an opinion. You have to take that to yourself in your core and to truth and see what resonates, and if it works and helps you, fine, use it. If it doesn't, it's not yours. That's what we have control over, that inner reflection. The stuff impacting our past, the Chariot, things have been moving and churning on this whole path of materialism and selfishness, and everything that has gone before has been moving along, and it's brought us now to this place. The thing above us that we don't have power over, strength. I think that's very interesting to come in that position. We don't know how strong we can be. Alternately, we don't know how easy it is to lose our strength in any moment. You know, I was a young, very ambitious person in terms of my personal agency and being in control of my life and control of things. I didn't always make the best decisions. You know, I was young, but I had this great strength and force, and then I got injured, and that was it. Never had that again. Never had the ability again to do all those things that I did with my strength, walking miles and miles and miles, and horseback riding and hiking and all the stuff I loved, and dancing, all the stuff I loved to do that really generated my life. When I got injured at 29, that was it. It was done. All of that was done. And that's a really devastating thing to face, but your strength can go at any minute. You never know. You know, so you can have grand ideas for yourself, and it can all come to naught in the passing of a blinking of an eye from an injury. So we don't have control necessarily over how strong we are. By the same token, I'm still here. Yes, it's been difficult. Yes, it's been painful. It's been dreadfully painful. But I never gave up, and I just keep going every day, because life is amazing. Even if you come to it with, you know, poor eyesight, inability to walk, no strength, whatever it is you come with, you're here. And so for me, that is a powerful reason to keep every day enjoying this beautiful world, regardless of my limitations. And because of that, I didn't know how strong I was until all of that unfolded. Where we see ourselves. The Four of Swords, reversed. The Four of Swords is typically the card, we call it maybe the truce card, or the temporary restriction, silence, going into quiet as the tomb, you know, calming all the thinking down into just silence. and contemplation. So I think for that to be reversed, I think what that's saying is that people are ready to come out of this truce. They've allowed something to happen. They didn't fight it significantly. They put down their swords, laid down their swords, and gave in. But now that's ending. We're coming out of that. We're feeling like we need to speak up, and we need to make the stand for the things that are important to us. The card for the environment around us was the death card reversed. You know, the environment in which we sit right now is one in which people are very threatened. People are dying. People are dying out of the blue. People are doing horrible things to children and each other with weapons. Just out of the blue, every day we see this stuff. Today, you'll have seen some of that on the news if you've looked at it. That's the environment in which we sit right now. There is a inability for a number of beings on the planet to accept that we're all related, and they really are going after people. So that is an environment in which we're sitting in this month. There's going to be more of that, I'm afraid. The card in the hopes and fears is the King of Cups. You know, a lot of people said during readings, political readings and stuff, that there were certain political leaders that referred to. What this refers to is a spiritual leader, a spiritual world leader, someone who has a strong emotional component, also can hand out wisdom. The kings represent outer actions. So I think what this card is saying is that we'd like to see outer actions of compassion, and we're not seeing it. And that creates a fear. We'd like to see a leader step up and lead us in this way, and we're not seeing it. And that creates problems and fear and anxiety for people. The outcome card for this was the Tower. I think you can see from the energies in these cards that there's a lot of turmoil going on, and we're not necessarily doing what we need to do to handle it. It's going to result in some sort of a tower moment at the end of this moon cycle or through this moon cycle. Things are coming down. Now, I find it very interesting. Here we are talking about the moon, and in this reading that I pulled, 3 of the cards show a moon in them. The card of the past shows a full moon, and that is what we have just come out of. We're now in the new moon, so interesting that that's showing in the past. So I would say that that represents the last moon cycle. And then in the environment around us, in the death card, there is a full moon also in this deck, reversed. And then it shows up in the final outcome card again, as well as a crescent moon in the Tower. So I think you could say that this is definitely representing the moon cycle, this current moon cycle of the grandmother. Interpreting it as looking at typical moon cycles for the grandmother, I would say that this is about, you know, our reconnecting with the collective and getting away from our selfish desires and things that we do to harm each other. So grandmother moon is a time when we come together with family. We've just had Thanksgiving. We're heading towards the Christmas season. It's very much a time of reconnecting with family. And these cards seem to be saying that grandmother says at those times, you know, you got to kind of put your nonsense aside and come with love. That's how I'd read this. The base of the deck on this reading happens to be the Four of Pentacles reversed. Four Pentacles reversed. Which is a consolidation of power. So I would say that this is about, not about coming in and consolidating in selfishness. Now is the time to undo that and open up and share your heart. All right, so that's what I got on this reading for the week. Sorry it took so long. It might be a little bit longer one. It might take me a little longer to upload out here on the mountain. But please leave me a like, leave me a comment. Let's get a conversation going. I'm really looking forward to interacting with you if you want to interact with me. So again, my email is going to be in the description below. Shoot me an email if you would like to talk about having a reading for yourself or something. You know, money separates us. I don't go out and do readings for money. That's not what I do. I help people who come in a open, honest, sincere way, in the way that Spirit guides me. And I love to do that if I can do that. So, you know, email me, we'll talk about it. In traditional ways, if you're going to an elder in a good way and you're asking them to help you, you should take care of them. And that's how we always did it. You take care of them. It's not, this costs you, you do this. There's something called a wopula, a gifting. When someone has helped you and saved you, you thank them. And in a traditional wopula, you do that by gifting them with the things that can support them and help them in their life. And that's how things work. You know, so you don't go and pay the medicine man. We don't even call it a medicine person. It's a, you know, spiritual interpreter. But if you're going to go, you don't go pay them and get a service, and then you assess the service, and if it wasn't great, you sue them or whatever. That's not how healing works. But that's how it works when you put money in the mix. So what we do in our ways is work through the heart. If you sincerely care and want help and can get something that serves you out of it, then you should come around and honor the person who helped you with that with some gratitude. So, you know, I'll leave it at that. But I'll put my email down below. If you want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to you. Email me. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week.